Gentlemen, stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to tell you in the next few minutes has completely transformed the relationships of thousands of men who thought they already knew everything. Here's the hard truth: you don't, and neither did I. Until 20 years of sitting across from real couples in real pain taught me something that no one, not your boys, not the internet, not any locker room conversation ever bothered to explain. There are specific places on a woman's body that don't just feel good. They unlock her emotionally. They signal to her nervous system, her soul, her entire psychology that she is safe, seen, and deeply wanted. And most men, smart men, good men, men who genuinely love their partners are completely missing them. Not because they don't care, because nobody ever showed them the map. I'm a relationship psychologist with over 2 decades of clinical experience. I've worked with couples in their 30s, their 50s, their 70s, couples on the edge of divorce, couples trying to reconnect after years of silence, couples who loved each other deeply but somehow stopped feeling it. And time after time, the same pattern showed up. The man thought he was doing the right things. The woman felt invisible, not unloved, invisible. There's a difference. And today, I'm going to bridge that gap. Not with theory, not with empty motivation, but with the real neuroscience-backed, psychologically proven truth about how a woman's body and mind respond to touch. 7 zones, 7 emotional gateways. And by the time this video is over, you are going to understand your partner in a way you never have before. But before we get into it, if you are serious about building a deeper, more connected relationship, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week I drop content that most relationship coaches won't touch because the truth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. Now, let's get into it. Zone 1, and this one is going to surprise you. The hands, not her waist, not her lips, her hands. See, most men treat hand-holding like a formality, something you do walking into a restaurant or crossing the street. But here's what the research actually says. Slow, intentional hand contact releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the trust hormone, the I'm completely safe with you hormone. When you hold her hand like you mean it, not a grip, not a squeeze, just a slow, warm, present hold, you're literally changing her brain chemistry. Women I've worked with have told me unprompted that the first time a man held their hand with real intention, they felt more emotionally connected than they had in years. One small detail that kills the moment: neglected hands. Cold, rough, inattentive hands break the spell instantly. Take care of them, gentlemen. The details matter more than you think. Zone 2, the nape of the neck, right at the hairline. This is where tension lives in a woman's body. This is where stress accumulates all day. The kids, the job, the mental load she carries that you probably don't even see. When you touch this area slowly, gently, with no agenda whatsoever, something remarkable happens. Her body exhales. Her nervous system shifts from survival mode to connection mode. I had a patient, a man in his late 50s who felt like a stranger in his own marriage. One night, no special occasion, no plan, he simply placed his hand on the back of his wife's neck while she stood at the window. She went still. She took a long, slow breath, and then she turned to him with tears in her eyes. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to. That touch said everything. Zone 3, the lower back. That space between the waist and the hips. This gesture communicates something that words rarely can. It says, I am here, I've got you. And you are completely free. There's no restraint in it, no possession, just presence. And presence, gentlemen, is the most underrated thing a man can offer. Use this in ordinary moments. In the kitchen on a Tuesday morning, walking side by side, standing in silence. The power is not in the grand gesture. It is in the consistency of showing up warmly and without expectation in the moments that don't seem to matter, because to her, they are the moments that matter most. We're halfway through. And if this is already shifting something in how you think about connection, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. This is the kind of content I wish every man had access to decades ago. Zone 4, behind the ear, just beneath the jawline. This one requires something the other zones don't. It requires trust to already exist. This area is sensitive in a way that goes beyond the physical. Women have described this touch not as feeling desired, but as feeling treasured. And for a mature woman, a woman who has lived, who has been let down, who has learned to protect herself, feeling treasured comes before everything else. Approach this zone too quickly, too eagerly, and it closes. Approach it with warmth, lightness, and patience, and it opens her in a way that no other touch can replicate. Zone 5, the space between her shoulder blades. This is a deeply overlooked psychological zone. It is the one place on her body that she literally cannot see herself. When you place your hand there with care, you are communicating protection over the part of her that is most vulnerable, the part she cannot watch over herself. Her nervous system recognizes this. Her mind quiets, and the fact that this touch is not sexual is precisely why it carries so much emotional weight. It says, "I'm not here for what I can get. I'm here for you." Zone 6, the inner thigh near the knee. Now let me be direct with you. This is not about rushing to intimate territory. This is about the approach. This is about communicating that you are close, genuinely close, and that you respect her pace completely. This is a transitional zone. It whispers rather than shouts. It signals intentions without pressure. And the men who understand this zone, who linger here with patience and awareness, are the men whose partners trust them with everything. The ones who skip it, they wonder why emotional distance keeps growing no matter how much time they spend together. Zone 7, the lower abdomen just below the navel. Save this one. This is last because it requires everything that came before it. This is where instinct and emotion converge in the female body. This is not a zone you approach casually. When you place your hand here slowly, warmly, as if you are holding something fragile and irreplaceable, and she allows it. She's not just allowing physical contact. She's handing you her inner world. The trust this represents is enormous. Honor it like it is. So why do these 7 zones work when everything else falls flat? Because women do not process touch the way men do. Female skin receptors are significantly more sensitive and more emotionally integrated. Studies in effective neuroscience show that these specific areas trigger oxytocin release, the bonding hormone, at measurably higher rates. But beyond the science, here is what 2 decades of clinical work has taught me. Women don't respond to stimulation alone. They respond to intention. They respond to presence. They respond to the feeling that the man in front of them is actually there. Not going through the motions, not performing affection, but genuinely, fully, consciously present. One of my patients said it to me plainly, and I've never forgotten it. He told me, "I don't even know what I changed. I just started paying attention differently, and suddenly she was closer." That's it. That's the whole thing. You don't need to perform. You need to show up. These 7 zones are not buttons to press for a reaction. They are doors. Every time you touch them with sincerity, with slowness, with care, with no agenda beyond connection, you are saying something that words rarely manage to say clearly enough. I see you. I'm here. You matter to me, and gentlemen, it is never too late to start. One conscious touch in one ordinary moment can open a chapter in your relationship that you thought was closed forever. Start tonight. Start tomorrow morning. Start right now. If this video gave you something real, share it with a man who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more content that actually moves the needle in your relationship.